Donna Norman. I live in the Berkshires. I'm here to voice my interest in opening a cannabis retail store in Great Barrington and securing a host community agreement with the town. I thank you in advance for taking the time to listen to my proposal. My purpose and goal is to become one of the first women-owned dispensaries in Berkshire County. The proposed name of my company is Calyx Berkshire Dispensary. The word Calyx is the female part of the cannabis plant. Having been a resident of the Berkshires for over 10 years and a frequent visitor before that, I love everything about the Berkshires, the individuality of the towns, the people, the arts. I equally love the idea of small business owners and their dreams. I've seen these businesses flourish in the Berkshires, and I've longed to become one of them. I realize that there will be others looking for approvals from the Town Board of Selectmen. While I cannot speak for them, I'm here to pledge to you that my company, my store, and my brand that I'm building will reflect the Berkshire vibe. It will be an asset to the town. I'd like the community to embrace my business vision. I'm committed to work side by side with the board to ensure our community members' safety, health, and well-being. It's 2018 and the cannabis industry has arrived. The changes in the state laws and more research into the health benefit have driven this change. Everyone in this room is involved in history in the making. We need our Berkshire towns to benefit from the tax dollars that this industry will generate and employment and opportunities it will provide. I understand many of you may have mixed feelings about having a cannabis retail store in town. I realize part of that resistance may be a fear that opening the door to the regulated industry will introduce cannabis to the community. I understand the concern. However, this fear could not be further from the truth. According to the federal government's National Survey on Drug Use and Health, more than 1 million Massachusetts residents consumed cannabis in 2015. Statewide cannabis consumption rates exceed 18%, meaning that roughly 1 out of every 5 Massachusetts residents consumes cannabis each year. Unregulated, unmanaged consumption. Taking action now to enact safe and responsible cannabis policies on the municipal level is ultimately about transferring this unregulated consumption to a regulated system where product is regulated, tested, and taxed. Ultimately, this regulated policy will ensure cannabis is kept out of the hands of youth and criminals. Instead of fear, regulation will bring cannabis consumption out of the shadows and allow state and local governments to more effectively tackle existing public health concerns. Many of the people in this room probably have never been in a cannabis retail store. I imagine you're curious. I too was curious. I visited many dispensaries in Colorado, California, and Washington. I witnessed all types of customers in their 20s, people in their 70s, shop in these establishments. I've seen some beautiful stores and I've seen some bad stores. However, all of the stores were secure and no one under the age of 21 was allowed entry, unlike liquor stores. It's important to me to create a beautiful store that is inviting to all who visit. It's important to create an environment where customers feel comfortable, safe, and welcome. I want to cater to all types of customers, especially educating the first-time consumer. My ultimate goal is to provide products to individuals who seek cannabis usage to improve their well-being. I've spoken about my vision as a female business owner. I've also spoken about the impact on consumers. I hope I've also addressed the community concern. At this point, I would like to speak about the positive business impact to the community. Many positive things can come from Great Barrington, allowing me to open my business. According to the market research firm New Frontier Data, this industry is going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue each year for the state and municipalities, including local government. Revenue generated from community host agreements and established $1.7 billion cannabis industry in Massachusetts would generate more than $246 million in government revenue. Municipal governments would capture upwards of $64 million in revenue. The Massachusetts cannabis industry should evolve in a similar fashion as Washington and Colorado did. It's reasonable to expect that the typical cannabis retailer will generate an estimated $2.5 million in annual sales. With a 3% local excise tax and community impact fee, local governments should expect to generate roughly $150,000 in revenue from each dispensary. Our towns need the benefit from this tax dollar that the industry will generate. It's my goal to support community initiatives and interests. Part of my business vision and mission is to make a difference in a person's life. That extends to giving back to the town that supports my women-owned business. I want to show appreciation for the community support that I receive to operate in town. I also plan to pair with local organizations and programs to help identify residents who have the correct training or who can acquire it to promote local jobs. Cannabis tax revenue will bring increased tax revenue to Great Barrington. It could help stabilize and offset property tax increases for the residents, for you, your neighbors, your friends. It could help take some of the tax burden off of local business owners. It could give our neighbors the opportunity for their businesses to become or continue to be legacy businesses, serving the community for generations. Cannabis tax revenue will fund more alcohol and drug abuse education and prevention programs. The Cannabis Control Commission is working very hard to ensure the industry in Massachusetts is fair to women, minorities, and veterans. They wish to promote small business. It's an important time right now for women finding their voice in an emerging business where women can flourish. Women are nurturing and compassionate by nature, so it makes sense that we are thriving in this industry. I'm a proud member of Women Grow, which is a network of strong business women around the country, helping each other grow the cannabis industry from the ground up. Before I wrap up, you may want to know a little bit more about me. Personally, I have 30 years working in the business world. It's always been my dream to own my own business. I've been working since I was 14 years old. I've been involved in every aspect from the ground up with 2 startup companies, as well as working in the finance industry for the same firm for the past 20 years. At this time, I would like to offer the town a generous host community agreement. I would also like to include provisions for an annual donation for a nonprofit that will use the money for drug education, prevention, and treatment. I would appreciate your thoughtful consideration about my proposal. I think it's a good business decision for the town. I would love to work with you and your town together in shaping this new and exciting cannabis industry. I respectfully recommend that the board put this on the agenda so that we may further discuss my proposal at length. I am determined to be successful, and I know that I'll be able to bring local jobs and much needed tax revenue to the community. I would love to be a good corporate neighbor. Together we can work towards a future without stigma and educate our community members about responsible cannabis consumption. Thank you very much.
Okay, can I ask a question? Sure. It's a math question. You had said $2.5 million in sales. You're expecting 3% of that, 75,000, not 150. Are you thinking about another 3% for a host agreement?
Yes.
And that's part of your planning?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is anyone
Quick with the math, I guess.
I saw you thinking about this now.
Okay,
Any other questions?
No.
I think the recommendation, as we have before, is I think you should make an appointment to meet with the town manager.
Okay, perfect.
Focus on our agenda.
And I have business cards for everyone. Thank you. It's a pleasure
Thank
speaking to you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Oh, I'm short on business card. Yes, I have.
All right, anybody else?